G'day, this is Battlebane, winner of the spotlight of this match, and I'm just going to break down a few things I was looking into while getting ready for it. So I brought in Namorous for the first time this week, specifically for my special bulk switch in on Latios. I min-maxed its EVs so that it would always live Hadron Surge Thunderbolt, at least live 2 of those so that I could Moonblast back and kill. And Namorous actually ended up doing a fair bit of work and got a couple of kills too, which was nice. It's pretty quickly. My initial plan was honestly to position in such a way that I could get scintillating in clean, so that I could shift gear on the same turn I get burnt by the flame orb for guts, and then I calced that facade or power whip or knockoff was killing everything on his team after that. It didn't work out quite that way because he got a confusion on a hurricane that then made me hit myself and scintillating died. So I had to pivot a little bit. It ended up putting in a bunch of work at the end to really close things out. Lucky I had a scarf on that, so I was outspeeding whatever he sent out. But managed to avoid any serious damage from the Latios or the Terrakion, which were my biggest concerns.
All right, me and Robert this time. Now, Robert, he is a friend from work and he's very new to Pokemon, but I've learned very quickly he has a very good strategic mind. I think he's already overtaken a few people in terms of like just pure battling ability. He'll take a little while to learn team building and what's good and what's bad, but currently very impressed with his progress this early. And as you can tell, Screamtail put in a shit ton of work this week. 6 kills, and it was like, I think it was 2 and then it was 4. Or maybe it was 4 and then 2. They got swapped out in between and just put in a lot of work. Ariados and Palisand went down, but they did their jobs getting webs up and then keeping webs up. Screamtail set up on the treads, which was hilarious because that was like the one thing that was supposed to counter it, but it's just so bulky, and Pixelate Boomburst is just insane. Still haven't sent Cinderace out yet, but that's okay. It'll do its job when it needs to. Regen Vest Manaphy is always good. His scariest thing was Tyranitar, but it just didn't do anything into Screamtail. Actually, Chandelure was the scariest thing. But yeah, there we go.
Alright, so we have Treniam versus Dossa here. Treniam sticking with the same team he brought last week. I don't think there's any changes here at all. Dossa, obviously had counter prep for him, but I don't think that was really needed this week at all, as he could have just looked at the replay from last week. So Politoed was the main Pokemon that put in an ounce of work on Trenium's team. Survived the longest, I guess, as well. And then Heatran just took the show away. 4 kills, I'm pretty sure. 410 damage overall for the week. Trenium really had nothing for his rocks. He had nothing for the Heatran, so it was just kind of a one-sided affair.
So thought process here was, I knew I wanted bulk. I knew things were going to be hard to kill if I could get them strong enough. Not as much went into was thought process of actual damage output, which was a bit of a worry, but when Unaware Gudra can take 3 hits from a fully set up Mew in Psychic Terrain, I think everything is fine. Wasn't expecting Dirge to live its final hit into Landorus. I was expecting damage buff from Landorus, but it was able to take the KO and keep it going. But that's kind of the team, you know, it exists to be bulky, hit back if it can. If it can't take the hits, it's at least going to take you as much down with it as it can. I wasn't expecting the Lucha. I was expecting more Leafeon, so Swampert was Sap Sipper, but in the end, Lucha didn't matter as much because Corviknight was able to deal with it as expected for it.
So we've got Kira versus Tarcos here. Kira bringing a similar team that she brought last week, with an addition of Hoopa, I think, and Tarcos bringing new Pokemons in Hisuian Samurott and Florges, I'm pretty sure. So Kira had an interesting idea here with Trick Room Hoopa. Unfortunately, it didn't do much and kind of backfired on her when Clodsai came out and just started doing chip damage to DNC. In the end, Tarcos was masterful at maneuvering his Pokemon and knowing when to bring in Regieleki. Steel Beam Goldango was a very, very nice idea in the sense that Magic Guard will make sure Steel Beam 150 base power move has no drawback at that. Refrigerate Reggie was just beautiful. Extreme speed outsped her entire team and just knocked out 4 Pokemon on the go. Yeah, Regidrago couldn't do much to this week because of, I guess, Regieleki. Yeah, Tarcos takes it 5-0. Very clean game from him. So we've got Beyond versus Rico now. This game was marred with a bit of drama where Rico brought the wrong ability on Slitherwing, forcing the game to be restarted, but ultimately Beyond did win. So I like the Meteor Beam here with the Power Herb. Great idea. It's just a free boost on Necrozma. Necrozma put in the work early. And I talked to Beyond about this, and he said that his biggest threat was Primordial Sea Ogerpon because he really wanted to play the Sun variant of his team. Banned Ursaluna with Chlorophyll, he said it probably would have been enough to one-shot with the Thunder Punch. He just wasn't sure if Ogerpon outsped him in the Sun. He wishes he'd used Extreme Speed instead of Flare Blitz on Arcanine, just because that might have been a big throw, but ultimately it didn't matter. He had Photosynthesis and Booster Energy on the Arcanine, just in case Sun wasn't up, and he'd still get the attack boost. The biggest threat I think for his team was Magikarp Talonflame. So he brought Moltres with him. Now Moltres hits a Hurricane in Sun, confuses, and pretty much turns the tide of the game there. Throwback to Mega Charizard by doing the exact same thing, but critting as well, and winning me the game on the spot last season. So shout out to our Sunbirds. Apart from that, I think very clean game, well played from both players. Alright, so we get to me versus Domo now. Let me tell you, I overprepped so much for Ting Lu. You can see I have Toxapex with me, I have Chestnut as well, a new addition to my team, and I had a weird set on Iron Moth with Energy Ball. So I was ready for Ting Lu. It ended up not mattering that much because Ting Lu went down pretty quickly. I think from here, his biggest threat was Monkey Dory with Assault Vest, because it just fries my team if I don't have Tornadoes on standby for it. But luckily, he sort of misplayed within the Psychic Terrain and hit a Fake Out, so that just caused it to not work. I got some damage in, and then obviously I outspeed, and he doesn't have a safe switch into Moth. So I did bring Infestation Toxapex specifically for Ting Lu. However, I didn't really have to use it. So, it didn't go to waste. We got to show it off against Ogerpon, just because I was kind of scared about Ogerpon doing enough damage in grassy terrain to take out Iron Moth. At the end of the day, Toxapex won me the game, got 2 KOs. Rico, again, put on an MVP performance. So, quite happy there. So last game of the week, we have Bisam versus Eesh. Now Bisam's obviously first game in SBL, so let's get into it. He brought a Raichu, which was the only unexpected mon in my opinion, versus Eesh's addition of Iron Juggler's Gallade into his team. Now, the start was a bit of a misplay for Bisam, might have been nerves, but yeah, Grimmsnarl goes down pretty quickly. Then after that, it is the Raichu show that comes in. Raichu does big damage to Belly Bolt, double crits, denying it screens and denying it recovery, which is one of the big turning points of the game. Now Suicune, it had set up, it was ready to do big damage, but Gallade comes in with the save, crits, and Suicune procs Confusion on the one turn that doesn't want to proc Confusion. But that's alright. So now back to Raichu gaming. Raichu gets 5 crits I think overall in the game. This thing was acting like it was holding a scope lens with Super Luck. At the end of the day, Iron Hands and Garchomp clean up, and Bisam wins his first game of the season.